Yesterday we learned that in the Gemara there was machlokes b'shama v'selo. If a person eats and then he doesn't make bichas hamazon, probably also applies to ala michya. It probably even applies to this discussion also to.
Gemara was mashma bichas hamazon.
Gemara is bichas hamazon, but Shulchan Aruch says it applies also to the chameshes minei dogon, probably also to shivas aminim. So a person has to make the bracha chroino in that place. If he goes to another place, what should he do? Machlokes b'shama b'selo. B'shama is machav, v'selo is mekel as usual. B'shama says you got to go back. B'selo says you can do it where you are. The whole machlokes is only b'shakach if you forgot, but b'mezid everyone agrees you have to go back.
Why somebody has to do b'mezid? I eat here and I go in there. I will not. Mezid is not apply here. Mezid
People do b'mezid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Religious people.
It happens. B'mezid doesn't mean that they did
Dafka.
that they knew the halacha. They walked away and they didn't realize that
It's
there
a
was a
shogeg.
problem.
So it's a shogeg.
No, shogeg means they walked away. They forgot they didn't make a bracha chrona. Here, maybe they didn't know the halacha, or they thought they're going to come back a few minutes later, and then they got, or they thought they'll come back, or they didn't know the halacha. So we had a machlokes. The Gemara said that there were two students. One did like Beis Shammai, and he found a bag of gold. And one did like Beis Hillel,
And the lion came.
and a lion came and ate him up.
Not good.
Not good.
Why? The lion has good meal.
Huh?
It's still everybody member.
Good for the lion.
It was good for the lion, yeah.
Did the lion make a bracha?
I guess if this guy didn't, the lion did.
Maybe the Gilgul.
He did brucha achona.
Yeah. And that's Taki, that was really the machlokes b'sham b'sil. B'sil, a person that walked all the way down from the top of the building, he used to walk all the way back up. So b'sham said so, and if a person forget a bag of gold on the top of the building, he shouldn't go back up. For his own covet, he'll go back up. So why for the covet Davish, they shouldn't go back up?
What's your mind?
Covet Shemayim. And the Gemara says that another story, that Rambam Bachona, that he was traveling, and then he ate, and then they left, and then he realized, oh, you have to go back and bench. So he said, we're going to tell the people in the desert that if they walk back to bench, they'll say, you're crazy, you can bench here too. So he told them, I forgot, a yoina did have a gold, a dove that's made out of gold. They said, oh, yo. They went back with him. And they didn't go back there. They waited for him. So he went back, and he did birchas hamazon, and he found a dove out of gold. And the Gemara says, because why a dove? Because the Jews are compared it to a dove. And just like a dove is protected by its wings, the Yidden are protected through the mitzvahs. I spoke about it last night, that Chas v'Shalom, that to say that Moira lied. He didn't lie. It's true. It was true that the Jews and the Eibush, the relationship is like a dove, like the Tosfos brings in the Medrash in the Gemara Shabbos, that the dove is faithful to the Ben Zug. The Yidden are faithful to the Eibush.
But when he told him that he has a kavanah,
just like in the Gemara says in Shabbos, the story of Elisha Baal Knafayim, that he ran because they said they're going to break the skull and take out the brain of the person who puts on tefillin. So Elisha Baal Knafayim was caught wearing tefillin. So the Roman soldier chased after him. He ran, and he caught him. So Elisha grabbed the tefillin and put it in his hand. He said, "What's in your hand?" So he said, "It's a dove. I want to see." He opened his hand. It was a dove. So the Gemara says, "Ma'ishna yoina." Because Imsal Knesset Yisrael b'Yoina, the Jews are compared to Yoina. Ma Yoina mitzvahs meginas alaf, Yisrael mitzvahs meginas alayim. So, the dove. I don't know if it turned back to tefillin. The dove. I don't know, but the Gemara doesn't say. But the question is, what do you mean Ma'ishna Yoina? What kind of question the Gemara says? Why Yoina? The question is why Yoina? Because that's what Elisha said. That's what Elisha said. He said it was a yoina. They made it. What's a? She opened her hand. There should be an elephant. He didn't say an elephant. He said a yoina. So obviously the Gemara's question was on Elisha. Why Elisha said a yoina? So same thing here. Why did he say a yoina? Because it's true. Because the mitzvahs are like, and like the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, that the Avav Hashem and Yiras Hashem, that's the Gafin, the Parchalayla. The Havla is a Yid to become Dovak to the Eivishter when he does a mitzvah through Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem. The Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, every Jew has Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem. How do we know that? Alter Rebbe makes an assertion. How does he know? The Alter Rebbe says simple. Because every Jew, when put to the test, is going to die from a Siddur Nefesh. Why? They learn, they understand? No. Because they have Ava Mesoteres and they have Yida from the Eibishter hidden in their heart. When a Yid has Mesidus Nefesh, we know that they have Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem. When Elisha saw that he has Mesidus Nefesh, he knew he has Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem to do the mitzvahs. So he says, I have a yoina, I have a bird. It was true, it was spiritually. The Eibishter made a nest, it was physical. Also, the Abba Babachona said the same thing. I forgot he had now Mesidus Nefesh to go back in the desert. So he said, I forgot a yoina. The Eibishter made a miracle, and that's what happened.
They have a story, a little miracle with Yita Halberstam. With stories. So she said it was the old man in Torah Vada's camp years ago. That he has on his hand here, he has hair. So somebody asked him, what is hair? So he said, when I was 10 years old in the concentration, they took his sister, the Nazi Dimachshimam, they took her to the police station. So he came home, he didn't see, he said, where's my sister? He said, police. So he went there. So the Nazi came to him, said, what do you want? He said, I want my sister back. He said, yeah, if you have hair in your hand, I'll give you your sister. He opened his hand, he has all hair there. Now, how the hair came, before that he was working in a factory, and he has they cut his hand or something in a machine, so they have to take hair, I don't know from where, and put here in his hand. And I don't know, probably he died now, he's an old man. But for all his life, he has hair here. And this Nazi, when he saw the hair, take your sister, go. He thought he's crazy. You know, he was joking. If you have hair in your hand, I send your sister home. Sure, I have hair. So Hashem make here before that a nest. I mean, he cut his hand, but he put it together and he has hair. Unbelievable. I heard the story. And people saw this guy in Torah Vadas, you know. Yeah.
So the Gemara said that Rabbi Zvid said that the whole machlokes was only about shokach, was b'shogeg. But b'mezid, then there's no machlokes. Everyone agrees that he has to go back. So someone yesterday asked, so the Gemara says, what's the chiddush? That's what the Mishnah says. The Mishnah says it was talking about shokach. So the Gemara says, no, maybe I would think ladir chakoich the veshamai. I would think I wanted that the Mishnah wanted to tell you Beshama is so machmir, not only Beis, also B'shogeg. But really they argue everywhere. So the person asks, well, why Leidicha Koicha B'shamai? Maybe say the opposite, Leidicha Koicha the Beis Hillel, like what's the Beis Hillel, so make it even by Mezid. So no, I would think so B'shamai is always, but just the Koich is telling, the Mishnah is telling you, wow, B'shamai is so machmir, even by Shokach. No, say the opposite. Beis Hillel is so make it. So I saw today that the Taz answer is very pashut. That's why there's many Rishonim that hold that the halacha is like Bishamai. Because we have a klal when the Gemara spends a lot of time explaining a certain shitta, probably the halacha is like that shitta. Because the halacha is like Bishamai, so it makes sense that the Mishnah will tell you the Chiddush Alibah de Bishamai, because the halacha is like Bishamai. So we always want to spend more time going Alibah de Hilchasa.
Especially when usually it's not a halacha like that.
Most of the time.
All the time.
So therefore the Saraya. Other Radayas they bring that the halacha is like Beshamai. But it's a machlokes rishonim essentially. It's a machlokes rishonim. Is the halacha like Beshamai or the halacha is Beis Hillel? So the Rambam holds the halacha is Lakula and the Rosh holds the halacha is Lachuma. Now there's another thing. The Mishnah talks about the case where he went to the next place. Now he calls the Rav. He says, what should I do? Should I bench here or should I go back? What's if he already benched?
Did I have a chiyuv to go back to?
Chiyuv go back or not?
Wait, he already
If you bench in the
What's
second
if he
place?
in the second place?
Oh.
He came to the second place.
Right.
So but we'd say that it's better for him to go back, or he has to go back. Bishamai says, "B'shogig b'meiz, I don't care. You always have to go back. Always have to go back." Bishamai says, "What's he didn't go back? He benched now." And he said, "Ooh, I was supposed to go back. What should I do now?" So the Taz says he has to bring a beautiful raya. He says the Mishnah says shokach, he forgot, yachzor, he should go back.
That means he didn't bench.
It means you didn't bench, you go back. The Mishnah could have said shokach lo yotza, he wasn't yotza to go back. No, that's not what the Mishnah says. Mishnah says yachzor, you have to go back. And mashma, if you didn't go back, what you benched here, you're yotza. You are yotza. That's only by shokach. But if it was mezid, then you must go back.
Even if you bench,
And even if you bench, you're not yotza.
Yeah, but if he did it maybe, then what would be his concern about even benching?
Mezid doesn't mean that. Mezid is he doesn't know the halach. He didn't realize, or he thought he's going to come back. And then he realized he's stuck because the other side of the city. He doesn't necessarily say, go back. He didn't realize to go back, and he benched already. And now he wants to know what to do.
So you bench a second time, you can say the second time is for tomorrow. That's it.
So we have here a machloikis. Do we pass him like Beishamai, or do we pass him like Beis Hillel? Beishamai said you always have to go back. Beis Hillel said no, it depends if you're Mashogig or Mezid. Beishamai said there's Machem, Beis Hillel is Meikel, like usual. Then we have a second machloikis. What happens if he already benched? So those that pass him like Beishamai say that again, that that according to Beishamai, you always have to go back. But if you already benched, if it was B'Shogeg, okay, it was B'Shogeg, it's fine. But if it's B'Mezid, you have to go back. But if the ones that pass like Beis Hillel say no, that's not true. That's not true, because everything is one step more easy. B'Shogeg, you never have to go back. B'Mezid, you have to go back. But if you already benched here, you never have to go back. So what are you supposed to do? So the alternative paskins like the Taz, that l'chatchila, if you went from point A to point B, you always have to go back. I don't care shogig mezid, we go like b'sham l'chumra, you always must go back. Unless, by the time you get back, the food is digested. There's nothing to bench. Or other cases where you don't have to go back. We'll get to them. But with that call, you have to go back. However, if you already benched, so now you're going to say, again, the benching, it's a question of bracha levatolo. So then you shouldn't do bechaz hamazon again. Because there is opinion that we're passing like Beis Hillel. And according to that, once you already bench, I don't care b'shegig b'mezid, Beis Hillel, everything is a step more easy. Beis Hillel says you only go back if you do b'mezid. And b'shamai is everything l'chumra, one step more l'chumra. B'shamai said l'chatchila, always have to go back. And the Eved already did the bracha, so it depends. If it was shogeg, okay, forget about it. B'mezid, you gotta go back. Beis Hillel is always one step more cooler. They said l'chatchila, b'shogeg, you can bench here. B'mezid, you have to go back. But if you already benched, doesn't matter. So what should we do? So the answer is very simple. L'chatchila, if I went from here to there, always have to go back. It doesn't matter shogeg me. Always have to go back. Doesn't matter how difficult, what big of a headache it is. You get punished once, you remember for next time. You always got to go back. Always. There's no shaila. Shokach, hazit, doesn't matter. Shogeg, you always have to go back, like Beishamai. But diavad, you already benched, you never go back. Because then that's a question of bracha levatolo. So you don't go back. So l'maisa, what to do is very simple. The l'maisa is very simple. Always have to go back, like Beishamai. But if you already did bechaz hamazon, you don't go back like Beis Hillel. Siman Kuf Pei Dalet. Sif Aleph. Paran Asbar Siman Kuf Ein Ches. You already explained Shkol Davar Atam Bracha Lachar V'Mkoimoi. Everything that you have to make a bracha, if it has to be V'Mkoimoi. Tol V'Char Acher Koidem Shakam V'Mkoim L'Chatchila. Before you walk out of the room, you have to make the bracha. That applies to bechaz hamazon, hands down. We all agree that it applies to the bracha on the 5 grains, and probably applies also to the 7 fruits. Okay.
But if the house has 5 different rooms, you ate in this
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. V'im shakach, good question. If you forgot, Couldn't she, but Shloiter, Chuchamalach Zelam Kame. This is Basil's. They said, "Oh, you forgot. It was shogeg. You don't have to go. We're not going to bother you to go back. Make the bracha where you remember. If you went back, also Basil will agree. It's good, but you don't have to. If it was intentional that you went away from your place, you didn't forget. You must go back. However, if you made here in this place, you always yotze. This is the opinion of Basil. And then Alan Paskin is like this. The other opinion is Beishamai's opinion. I don't care what happens. Shogig Mezid always tzarich lazel kemal lavarich. You always have to go back into Medubach Samazim. If you made the bracha here, so it depends. If it was a shogig, you yotze. But Mezid the fill the avid lo yotze. If it's tzarich lazel kemal lavarich. Linyan alocha. What's the alocha? So therefore, Safek bracha is lahaklam. Di avid. If you already made the bracha here in the second place, don't go back. If you like, I don't care if you did it b'meiz. Always go back. If it's possible. Then he could be mekel. In other words, if he was a shogeg, and the people don't want to go back with him, he could be mekel. If it's dangerous. If he was shogeg, we feel b'mezid. If by the time he gets back, he went to Manhattan, he realized he ate in his house, he lives in Brooklyn. So if he goes back on the train, the time he gets back, the time he walks home, his food is digested.
But isn't it a matter of the time? In other words, I thought that you're limited to a certain amount of time.
That's not true. That's a mistake. It's not the time. It's however long it takes for food to digest. Every person is different.
If the food digested, or we went to the bathroom?
No, not the bathroom.
Complete digestion or partial digestion?
Exactly. When by Basa B'cholov, look at complete digestion. And we'll talk about it mitzvah next week. That's why 6 hours.
6 hours.
Right. By Bichas Hamazon, we look at Tchila Sikul, when it starts to digest.
Two.
How do you know that it started to digest? When a person is hungry again, he wants to eat. So every person is different. Some people 2, some 3, some 4, some 5. Depends. A little child could be 15 minutes. Yeah,
Especially when you put him to bed.
Your little Anikla is home. I see Lebedik.
You finish supper now. You put him to bed. I'm hungry. Yeah, but it's time. Nothing.
I want to make a bracha, that's why he says hungry.
Yeah, sure.
I'm thirsty.
Yeah, always to look...
Exactly. So
Israel.
So V'meila, that's a shear for every person, as we're going to learn about it next week. So then he doesn't have to go back. Okay, so summarize. It's complicated. Machlokes b'sham Basil. B'sham is machmer, one step always more than Basil. Basil is mekel, always one step less than B'shamai. However, l'maisa, what we're supposed to do is very simple. If you went from one place to the next place, you always have to go back, unless the food is already digested, or you're not going to have someone that's dangerous on the road. You're going to go, then no one's going to come back with you. So, and it was b'shoigig. But if you already made Michas Hamaz in the second place, or you already made Alam Michi in the second place, then we're going to go like Beiselo.
You don't have to go back.
He doesn't have to go back. He has no more bread. He has no more bread. He doesn't have to go back to the first place. He should eat a little more bread. The Malkim is in the new place that he remembered. We should make another, and over there, make Bechsamazon. It's like when you when you chayiv to bench because you finished eating and you finished eating here. The chiyuv doesn't chal on you where you started to eat when you finished eating. Even if he didn't eat a full share, the bracha is now chal in this place where he finishes eating. Before he finishes eating, there's no obligation to make a bracha. He's allowed to continue eating. Person's not obligated to say, okay, listen, you already ate a whole bulka. You got a bench.
No.
Yeah, you want to eat more, you gotta wash again. No such thing. You can eat 25 bulkas if you want. And then you'll do b'chazamaz like that. Yeah. So when is the chalois of the chiyuv to bench, to do b'chazamaz? When you say, okay, finished, I'm finished eating. Now you're obligated to bench. If as long as the food didn't digest, you can keep on eating. And the truth is, even without the first eating, he has a chiyuv from now, from the eating, to make a bracha achrona. The chiyuv to make now bracha is only when he decides, that's it, I'm not eating anymore. So now he has a chiyuv to make a bracha, and after the food digests, and the chiyuv expires. But only the chiyuv only starts, and a person says, "Okay, I'm done eating." Even if he changes his mind, and the chiyuv falls off again, but until he finishes eating. When he eats in two places, he should make the b'chazamaz in the second place when he finishes eating. Even though if he didn't have a mind to continue eating. In other words, like this.
This is like
This is could be the Alter Rebbe doesn't go into it in the footnote here he wants to say, but could be the person decided that he's not continuing to eat.
here.
Yeah.
You continue eating.
And then he went to another place. So it was a hesed chadas because he decided he's not eating anymore. So could be yes to make another time a moitzi. But the bottom line is, once he starts eating bread a second time, there's no chiyuv not to make b'chazamaz. He's eating. He's allowed to eat. As long now that he decides, okay, finished.
But wait, a second place.
Second place.
But does he have to wash again?
He might. That's what I'm saying. That's not.
This
The Alter Rebbe
happened
doesn't
to
go
me
into that.
Yesterday, last night.
Depends. If he didn't have in mind to eat in the second place, he probably has to make another time a moitzi. If he didn't have in mind and he left this place, he probably has to make another bracha.
Without Birkat Hamazon?
If the what is it called? The food
He needs
already digest.
Even if it didn't digest. If he was eating in this house and he never had in mind when he made a moitzi he's going to eat
All of a
another
sudden,
house,
change his mind middle of the meal.
and he walked out, he walked to another house, he has to make another moitzi.
And that's the Birkat Hamazon, the other house?
He's supposed to make b'chazamaz. What if he didn't make b'chazamaz?
If he didn't do Birkat Hamazon, you did a motzi?
That's the chiddush she's saying. He doesn't have to go back to the first place and do b'chazamaz. You wash here, eat bread here.
Continue.
Yeah, and now the b'chazamaz is going to go back for the other place, and it's not a problem.
Just what I did.
The Chetchila is not allowed to walk away from this room without making a bracha and without benching. I don't care if you had a mind to continue there. Unless when he washed and he made a moitzi, he had a mind
I'm going to continue.
and continue. So you could wash in New York and finish eating in Tokyo. That's fine.
The mind
You have to have a mind.
in washing.
Yeah, you have to have a mind. You're going to wash, you eat a little bit here, and then you continue eating there.
Make sure you order a glad kosher meal, that's it.
Right, exactly. Or you bring a sandwich with you on the plane.
If they like it.
So, a tuna sandwich, beside it. If you start putting in lettuce and tomatoes, then you have a problem. So, that's the yotzim HaKlal. If you have a mind, that's fine. But if you didn't have a mind, you always have to bake a bracha achrona before you walk out of this room. But if you didn't, and you went to another place, and you have bread, so you can eat there, and you might have to wash. Okay, but it doesn't matter. That's fine. That's from one place to another place. If it's from one corner to another corner in one room, even if it's a huge room, it's all considered one place. He's allowed to make Birchas Hamazon in another corner. He doesn't must go back to the same seat where he was sitting originally, even from the house to the courtyard. If he sees the original place where he's sitting and eating, it's considered one place. Commission is more Sham as explained in that Simon Kufayches. If he had in mind, he's going to eat in this room, but he's going to make Birchas Hamazon in another room. Could be it'll help. Could be that this was going to help. This is not exactly the same case. Because the classical case is that I have in mind, I'm going to eat here, so I eat a piece of bread here, and then I have in mind I'm going to eat the rest of the meal on the plane, and then when I get off in Tokyo I'm going to eat the rest of the plane. That's not a problem. But here it was a little different. He had in mind he's going to eat in this room, and then he's going to do Birchas Hamazon in the other room. He's not going to eat there. So there's a problem. So there's a sofek. If this place where he's eating is not noki, it's not enough clean,
to the other place,
so then it's fine. That's not fine. But otherwise, only for this. Otherwise, he has to. If he didn't have anything in mind special when you made hamoitzi, you should bench in this room. Unless the other room is open to this room and you could see this room. But l'chatchila, you have to do Birchas Hamazon in this room, mamish. In this room, mamish.
For bringing the Rebbe is to always announce it. Whoever need to make Baruch Hana, for sure will make. Like if you have a mind to continue for bringing, don't make a Baruch Hana yet. But if you finish with me for bringing now,
right? So you're gonna go away. Because the ship. People don't realize sometimes. People go on a trip, right? So there's no problem. It's Pesach. You're gonna go Chol HaMoed with your kinderlach to the Bronx Zoo. You could wash, have a piece of matzah, and have in mind and continue in the Bronx Zoo. Okay, so then next week we'll talk about it. If there's a big shear between eating, then and the food already digested,
you wash again.
It's all over, right? But okay, but naniach, that's not a problem. But you have to eat in the house a little bit.
Stop.
You have to start and eat in the house. Otherwise, anytime you do a bracha rishona, if it's Birchas Hamazon or even if it's ala michya and even if it's ala pedis or ala gefen, you have to make it in that room, in the same room. Unless in a house, for example, you had in mind you can continue eating in the other room. So then you can continue eating in Kentucky too. But if you're planning to eat in this room and you were not planning to eat any other room besides this room, you're supposed to do Birchas Hamazon in this room.
Right.
So L'mashal, you have a coffee in the car and you have a shtickl mazanis in the car. Park, make ala michya, burn the foshes. That's it. You go into the house and you take the shtickl mazanis with you. Make again, burn the minimum mazanis. It's another cheshbon. You park, you go to the car, make ala michya.
It's again like you go into a house and you have a shmogin in one room. You made a bracha lo gefen for some wine or you taste some food or whatever. Then you're going to go to the hall.
Yeah.
You're a different room completely. But you have in mind to continue Seuda in the other room.
Right.
You know you're going to a meal in
So Alter Rebbe says you shouldn't do it. Only if you... No, over there is better. No. Because over there you have in mind to continue eating in the other room.
It's next door though.
It's only a problem if you have in mind... That's the best. If you wash before the shmorg, it's gewaldig.
They don't give you bread there for the shmorg.
Some do, yeah.
Some do. That's the best. So you wash by the shmorg right away, and you have in mind that you're going to continue in another place. There's no problem, because whenever you wash for bread and you have in mind to continue eating in another place,
It's like
No
one
problem.
room.
But
It's
at
like
that
one
one
room.
time, it's really not a Sudas mitzvah?
Who cares the Sudas Mitzvah, not Sudas Mitzvah?
Just do it.
Are you from the Talmidei Chacham? The Gemara says, "A big Talmidei Chacham."
No, I'm saying-
They only ate Sudas Mitzvah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Mashal.
They used to make a Siyam Masechet every time before this.
Ben Siyeta Mitchach
Yeah.
from now on.
Exactly. We want to learn this Mashal. So if it was a Siyam Masechta, they would eat at that meal. A Pidyon Ben, eat at that meal. But Stam Azoy, a Kiddush, maybe a Chiddush Verbringen they'd eat. But Stam Shmorg, they wouldn't eat.
You can what they eat already, that kind of people. To finish on Masechet before you eating.
It's-
Unbelievable. These people probably daven also long time and long, so it's already lunchtime by then.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in today's fast food and the fast pace. This is this
Everything to go,
din, this,
and to
this
go,
everything is
to
to
go.
go. So sometimes people overlook this thing. The Bama says you have to, unless person has a mind to continue and he eats here and he eats there. If he eats here and he eats there, and may by al mich it's a shaila because is it. But by Bichsa Muslim, there's no shaila. You can wash, you have a mind to eat here and there, and no problem. And that's no problem at all. But otherwise, a person has to finish eating in this room, make a bracha chrana, and then go on to the next.
If you eat bread and mezonah, and he has kavana to finish the meal later, but not the mezonah, so he has to make al hamichya and then go later on make the mezonah.
No, once he made, if he washed and he made a moitzi, then everything is part of the meal. At least for Bichas Hamazon. Could be if he's going to have in the meal a piece of fruit. Not could be. If he eats a piece of fruit, he has to make adama. And cake, if it's whatever, if it's like, if there's more, if the sugar and the margarine and everything is more than the water and the flour, and it's
Like these crackers.
right. So then you have to make a mazonis, but whatever. But the Birchas Hamazon is always the same. You only make once Birchas Hamazon for everything you
Yes,
eat.
yeah.
Min HaTorah, you only make Birchas Hamazon if you're satisfied. Shem v'chalta v'savata v'rachta. B'divrei Sofrim, our sages said, Lavar Birchas Hamazon al kazayis shusher achila. Yes, the one kazayis, and you can already bench. Pachas v'kazayis and nikra achila klal. Less than kazayis is not achila. Tzir of kazayis, how long do you have to eat? You have to eat a kazayis within somewhere 6 minutes, say 6 minutes, 7 minutes. People sometimes Shabbos like to eat a drop of challah. Then they have nigunim and zmidas. We spoke about it. And eat another drop of challah. Then they bench. It's a bracha v'torah. You have to eat a kazayis of challah within
6 minutes.
within a shir pras, which is probably 5, 6, 7 minutes. So maximum is 9 minutes. It's not more than that. So
You have to know, you make a moitzi, make a
Mm,
kazak,
nice.
and then you
It's a
start
kazak.
going out.
yeah.
As a going to travel, right?
And good, but there has to, a person has to know Birchas Hamazon. If you ate and you're satisfied, then you're chayav to make Birchas Hamazon min HaTorah. If you ate a kazayis, you're chayav only the rabbanon. How much is a kazayis? So a kazayis, if you look at the shiurim of Rabbi Avram Chaim Noah, we'd go with that is an ounce. The truth is, it's not so accurate to look at an ounce because really a kazayis is volume. It's not so much
Weight.
It's not so much weight. They say, like those old matchboxes, probably this cookie should be, somewhere in volume size. It should be about a kazayis. The problem with this cookie is that this cookie is more ear than cookie here. So to be in the safe side, maybe 2 cookies. Mahadim, we said we'll eat 4 cookies.
Four is the saveach.
But that's So, okay, so what's the nafkamina? It's a big nafkamina if my benching is menatoira with the rabbanon. Why? What happens? A person forgets. Oh, did I bench or did I not bench? Every bracha, if you forget, safek brachas l'kula, you don't make a bracha, but birchas hamazon is menatoira, you have to be machmer. But when birchas hamazon is menatoira, if you ate kedei svia, then you're satisfied. But if you ate a kazais or two kazaisim, is the rabbanon. So if you ate one or two kazaisim, you have to bench. But if you don't remember if you bench or not, no benching. But if you ate a full meal and you're satisfied, and then you don't remember, did I do a bench or not? You have to bench.
But each person a different satisfaction.
Yeah, you have to know yourself. Everyone's different. Some people, one slice of bread and a smear of tuna, they're good to go. They're full. Other people, one piece of bread and a smear of tuna, that's like garnish.
It's only a test.
Yeah, that's nothing. The shmorg, yeah, that's not a big deal. So they need 2 pieces of bread. Okay? Some people, 2 pieces of bread is not enough. They need 3 pieces of bread. But whenever it is, when a person is sova, that birchas hamazon min haTorah. If he ate just a kazayis, that birchas hamazon is rabbanon. As I said, a kazayis is about this. This is, I think, a nice size for a kazayis in value.
In Pesach, it said ne'echal ala sava.
Right,
Right,
exactly. That's what
we call it.
So now, let's continue. The person doesn't remember if he did birchas hamazon. If he ate to satisfaction, now he's chayiv to do the bracha min haTorah. Now he has to make the brachas hamazon a second time. Because now it's a suffix shel Torah. So suffix shel Torah l'chumah. If not, he doesn't make the bracha again. Now the Alter Rebbe says a chidush. If he has to make a second time the birchas hamazon, he also has to do again the 4th bracha.
You mean
Why?
after the Yerushalayim?
Yeah. Why? The question could say, hey, wait a minute. I have a suffix if I do birchas hamazon or not. You're telling me because it's min haTorah, so I have to do it again. Which one should I do again?
The Torah, which is its first 3 brachas.
The first 3 brachas, which are chayiv min haTorah. The 4th bracha, everyone agrees, is with the rabbanon. So why should I do that again? So the answer is no. He has to do that again. Because we're scared that people will be mazalzel in it. And they say, yeah, you see, this one you don't have to say again. Another reason he gives. This was the original takana. Similar to that, the Alter Rebbe had, we learned it 2 years ago, 3 years ago in the summer, Lagabe Birchas Krishma. So a person is mesupik if he said Shema or not. Unfortunately, a person, okay, I don't know what said Shema. Say Shema. So he has to say Shema again because Safek Deraisa. Torah says you have to say in the morning. You have to say Krishma twice a day. You have to say it again. How about Birchas Krishma? You have to say Birchas Krishma also. Why? The brachas on the Rabbanon. So the Rashba says, no. Because that was their takana. The takana was, whenever you're going to say Shema, I want you to say these brachas. That's what they said. They said, whenever you're going to say Shema, say it with the brachas. So even if you said the brachas, I don't care. Now you have a suffix if you said Shema, so it's a suffix that I said l'chumri, you have to say Shema again. Oh, so you have to say the bracha. Same thing here. Similar thing here. The Alter Rebbe says, Chacham said like this, whenever you bench, I want you to make a bracha toiva meitiv. So now, I'm benching. I have to make a toiva meitiv. So well, maybe I made it. What's the difference if you made it already? That's what Chacham said. If you do birchas hamazon, you do a toiva meitiv. So you have, now he ate kedei svia. He is satisfied. So now the obligation to bench is min haTorah. Now that he has a suffix, he doesn't remember if he benched or not. He has to bench again. So now he's going to say, but a toiva meitiv is the rabbanon. No. Chacham said, whenever you bench, you say a toiva meitiv. So that's why he makes a toiva meitiv. Okay, so bottom line, for everything we learned tonight, so 2 things we learned tonight. L'chatchila, you always, when it comes to benching, and alamich, and also ala gefen, and also ala pedis, you have to, in this room you finished eating, you bench here. Bracha achrona here. You go to another place, and you didn't have in mind when you washed anything, you go to another place. You always have to go back. If the oven you already benched there, fine, we're going to go Beis Hillel and make
You
it.
don't have to bench.
You always have a trick. You can eat bread in the other place. Even if you have to have a moitzi there, you can make a moitzi, eat some more bread there, and then you could bench there, and it's not a problem. That's a trick. You can always do that trick. Good. That's din number one. Din number two is that there's two types of birchas hamazon. One is midiraisa, one is derabanan. You ate a kazayis, that's derabanan. You eat satisfied, that's deraisa. What's the difference? Later, if you have a suffix. So if you ate kedei svia, you have to bench all over again. If you didn't eat kedei svia, then you don't have to bench all over again.